Started.
I think that confirms recording has started.
So
We'll jump in.
May I ask, would you prefer a gallery view here or just the speaker view? I suggest
Gallery view would be great, and let's try it. Yeah, gallery view would be great, but again, we'll see how that feels with Basil being audio only, which is great. I'm glad he could join, but we'll see. But gallery view would be great. I see. Can I do that myself? Okay, I see. Yeah. So, Corey, anything else? Should we just roll with it? You're good to go.
You're good. We are recording.
Good. Claudia, we're good. Cool. Okay.
You got it.
Okay, cool. So Basil, here we go. And you ready to go, Basil?
Yep.
Awesome. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for another exciting podcast by Smart Hustle Media. My name is Ramon Ray, founder. I'm really excited. One thing I love doing, get out of bed deliriously excited, is talking to small business owners and the partners they work with to help power their business. Today I'm joined by Jess, and Jess is with Joey No Nut, which is a coffee shop, I believe, a cafe, which sells nut-free drinks and food. Joined by Basil as well, who's with Corporate Realty, a family-owned and operated real estate business established in 1989. Joined also by Eric, and Eric's with Verizon as well, heads sales for Verizon in the Northeast region, and Christian, who as of today is like the 5G ninja for Verizon in this area as well. So all of you all, thanks for joining. Glad to be here. Jess, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. Christian, how are things in your world?
Fantastic.
Awesome. Eric?
Great to be here, Ramon. Thanks.
Awesome. And Basil?
All's good.
Awesome. Glad you're here. So I think, Jess, I'm just going to start off with you. Give us a bit of overview of your business, why you started it, and what it is. Take 2 or 3 minutes and unpack about your business.
Sure. So my husband and I started this cafe about a year ago in Hoboken, and we decided to do it nut-free because our daughter had safe space. And so we've been, struggling along here our first year, and then COVID hit, and it slowed things down a little bit. But we started to see more people working from home coming to our shop, and we haven't been able to expand the way we want to yet with more food options and things. We had to kind of scale it back. It's just my husband and me working there currently, and my kid, my daughter Ruby, is doing remote school from home and the shop because we live across the street. We have a 1.5-year-old as well. So we're juggling a lot, but we're really grateful and we're really proud of what we have, and we're looking forward to what the future holds.
Absolutely. And Basil, same question for you. Thank you. To unpack a little bit about your business, what you do, who you serve, and what problem you're solving. But take 2 or 3 minutes and unpack a little bit about your company, Corporate Realty.
Okay, well, we've been in town almost our entire lives, born and raised in the area. So as a real estate company, we have connections with all the old-time people who grew up in town. And, we now are faced with the challenge of not doing business the old-fashioned way, where people walk in the door, you see people all the time. You were always getting together with people, having meetings, doing business, shaking hands, and now we just have to figure out a way to do this without all that. So, internet, the internet has been taking off for the past, 30 years, and this is where everyone's been going and keeps going. So, we're faced with the challenge of adapting to survive.
Absolutely.
And we'd still like to keep some of that old school, old-fashioned type of business sense, but we just have to figure out a way to incorporate it.
Absolutely. And Christian, I'm going to turn this next question to you because Basil kind of mentioned, the old way of doing things, and I'm sure the old way of doing things, some things will be around, but, as Jess is expressing handshakes and hugging and how are you and all those things, it's a whole new world for the foreseeable future. And so I just want to turn to you. What kind of things are you seeing, Christian, in the market? Because you talk about technology, and I know we'll get to 5G in a minute, but just overall, because I think tech, I'm guessing, is a big part of this new way of doing things. And before you answer, even if the Verizon team, as you're doing, just want to help me, any noise that's happening, just feel free to mute. I know who it is, so we can get a clean line. And then when I refer back to our other panelists, you can unmute them for me. Thank you for that help. So, Christian, technology and small business briefly, what are you seeing, especially in the past 8 months? Because I think before it could have been kind of, well, maybe I need it, maybe I don't. But it seems with COVID, everybody's saying tech has to be a solution in some way. Is that what you're saying, Christian?
I think if you looked at people's plans to adopt technology, to go and transform their business with digital, whatever those plans were 6 months ago are thrown away. And they've got to do things now versus over years. And I think that's one, impacting large businesses, the enterprises, be it a hospital or a large retailer or a sports league that's running a venue, but even more so for folks on Main Street, or in this case, Washington Street, right? How do you think about the new tools that help you combat these new problems? And really what we think about is technology not being really a hammer looking for nails, right? Because I could talk about tech all day, but does it solve what a customer needs from an experience perspective for when they go into Joey No Nuts, or when they're trying to figure out, does that apartment feel right for my family with corporate realty? And so when we see that timeline, we just see an amazing, amazing intersection where you can kind of make a little bit of lemonade out of lemons. And this scenario is, accelerating adoption of things that probably could and should have happened earlier, but also from a small business perspective, we think about this sort of 21st century infrastructure that is 5G and edge computing and all the technical things, really giving a democratization effect to small businesses who before things like 5G and cloud might not have thought about, well, how do I reinvent the phone on the front desk of the store? How do I do a virtual event so, Jess and Jeff can do a sing-along broadcast from Joey No Nuts? So these are the types of things that really we're seeing super, super accelerated. And it's not just for the large enterprises, but it's for this segment of small businesses that really need it more than ever. But our hope is, and really our goal here with this program is to make sure that everyone is coming out more resilient than ever, using new tools and work together to create what that future looks like.
Sure, and thank you very much, Christian. And Eric, I'll turn to you. Your colleagues with Christian, you supervise and manage tons and tons of people. When you think, Eric, about Jess, when you think about Basil, these are small business owners, Eric. Their expertise is coffee and drinks and serving. Basil's expertise is corporate realty, and et cetera, not tech. How do you feel about that? And do you feel kind of, maybe it's an honor, I don't know, that you're partnering with them to help them, as Basil said it best, it's a new way of doing things. Eric, what are you saying from your perspective with that in mind?
Well, I think we made the commitment about 18 months ago when we resegmented our business at Verizon to create a small business segment. Up to that point, small businesses were part of large businesses. And throughout the course of my career, you can get drowned out by the Fortune 1000 and the needs of that, and then trying to shrink down solutions to fit the small business. We reimagined the entire ecosystem and said, we're going to build products and services and bundles for small businesses with them in mind. And so the product set we represent is specifically dedicated to the small business. It is variable in cost, such that is a per user per month, no long-term contracts, no long-term deals. So as their business scales, they can scale. We also put security at the foundation layer of everything we do, because as I think Basil articulated, the internet has become more prevalent over time. So have issues, ransomware, cybersecurity. These aren't Fortune 1000 things. These are every business has to contend with that, and it's a very real concern. So making it simple. At the end of the day, Ramon, we want to provide solutions to small businesses that eliminate the concern for technology, help them enable and help them do what they need to do, and do so in a secure manner. And if we can do that, then we believe we're facilitating our stakeholder approach, of which society and community and our employees and our customers and our shareholders. It all comes into the lens of how we operate our business at Verizon. That's fundamentally different than just a few years ago. Now, if I could shift to where we are, this pandemic has been, I can't even think of the world problematic.
Catastrophic. Just
Catastrophic.
terrible for everybody.
Terrible, awful.
Yeah.
But small businesses have been hit the hardest. So
Yeah.
as we look to enable the next phase of growth, and there will be, we will make it through this. And we look downrange to 2021, the introduction of 5G, the introduction of new unlimited plans at a lower cost point for as low as $30 a month. A business can get unlimited now at Verizon, and have 5G included. The ability to have longer terms, more flexible terms on that, but also providing 3 months of service to customers who need that to get their, change out their infrastructure, if you will. Hey, you want to shift your landlines? How do you do that? You want to go with wireless? How do you do that over fixed costs? But ultimately, it will help our customers succeed going forward. And that's a commitment we have into the business.
Customers like Jess and Basil, who are
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it. Jess, let's dive more into what has it been like from you, and thank you, Eric, for that. Thank you, Christian, been like for you as you're changing your business. I think I'll focus on that for a few minutes. I would love to talk about marketing and hiring and sales, but you've heard what Eric said, you heard what Christian said. What has it been like changing your business overall? As a cafe, as you said, people come in the door, they put their $5, $10, and they go out. Now that's not happening. What are some things that you and your husband have been thinking about how to stay in business? And maybe right now you're even at survival mode. You're not even thinking about thriving. What are some 2 or 3 things you're going through now? And as you're saying it, Jess, let's think about those listening to us. What can they learn from you as well? I'd like to hear that as well.
Okay. So the challenge has been people did come and stay inside the store and hang out and get things. We had a lot of families coming in. And now we've shifted gears. We have a walk-up window that we're utilizing. So people come and get their stuff and they go.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been able to offer our full menu. So we've had,
Sure.
I was baking and cooking in the shop, and now we're ordering out because there just is no time. Right. And we've had issues with our technology, like ringing up, because we wanted to make payment contactless as possible. And we've had issues with losing sales with the current internet the internet we had. And this is giving us the opportunity to have a better workflow and to not lose sales. So we aren't really thinking long range at this point.
Sure.
We are kind of in survival mode. We're not really sure where this is going to go and how long it's going to last. But we do welcome the opportunity for new ideas on how to grow our customer base through this and beyond this. And these technology solutions are really intriguing, and we're excited to work with them.
Well, that's Eric and Christian's job. You let them stay in the home or glass tower, wherever they are, thinking of cool stuff, and then at the time, right? Basil, what about you, Basil? You've touched on it, Basil, and again, so glad you're here. As you go on unmute, what things are you thinking of, Basil, as you're thinking of the future? Realty, as you said, it's a touching and an in-person thing. Now it's not. What are the 2 or 3 things that maybe you've gone through, Basil, that you're thinking of now or the future? And similar question, what can we learn from you, especially other realtors listening to you today, Basil?
Well, right now, the way things are, I hate it. Because there's the way I do business, I do business, but I also try to make a personal relationship with the person I'm doing business with. And, email, text messaging, here's a video, there's no tone. There is no tone, it does not sound, it doesn't sound inviting to somebody. It's like, hey, here's a video of the apartment. The thing that, this Verizon and the blue jeans, it sounds like it's going to be something where you can actually, maybe the person isn't with you, but you can have them kind of like next to you, giving them a virtual tour of the apartment and speaking to them and doing all that stuff, which I think is better than like a FaceTime, because the FaceTime is awkward.
Right.
So, I think, going into the future, I think this is going to be a big way where you can hopefully, try to have some kind of personal connection with somebody while you're either touring an apartment or having, showing them a property for sale, a piece of land, pretty much anything. But there's, when it just boils down to, digital texting and all that stuff, there's, like I said, I hate it because there's no tone.
Christian's going to get you to love it in 30 days or less. That's what Eric's going to mandate Christian have that as his bonus or something. But Basil, I will give you.
Go ahead.
You were going to say something, Eric?
Yeah, yeah.
No, go
Look, I
ahead, go
mean,
ahead.
those are very real challenges. I mean,
Yes.
I run an outside sales force. That's not outside. I mean, up till this point, I would have told you, in January and February, we probably did zero virtual meetings with
Hmm.
customers, right? It was done face to face. That's how it was. So I've had to retool my organization, and everything we're talking about is not just a product that we offer to small business customers. It's how I run Verizon for small business sales reps. So we use Blue Jeans, One Talk, right? We're on remote, and that's the way it has been. Now, there is a desire, and depending on the locality and how severe the pandemic is at that time, where we can start a little bit of the one-to-one, face-to-face interactions again. But this is here to stay. As there are expectations now of customers, oh, I'll just hop on a call. Why have an hour meeting when we could do it in 30 minutes over the video, right? Or why I can tour that apartment to see if I want to even show up. Like, I think the longer we go through this, the more consumer behavior adjusts, right?
Yes.
And I think, yes, we were talking about your next wave of customers coming from folks like me that want to get out of their house in the morning to get coffee, right? Or just want to do that. And I think it's just going to change. But what Basil was saying is 100% accurate. We're all feeling it.
Yes.
But there's that intersection of how do you maximize what you got where you have it, if that makes sense.
For sure. No, I love it. And I think one thing, Basil, by the way, can I give you $1 million idea?
Yeah.
Can you handle it? I don't know if
I'm
you can
only
handle
gonna
it.
give you. I'm only gonna give you $20 for it. But go ahead.
That's okay. You get Christian to give me one of those cool shirts he has on right now. I'll give you the idea for free, no problem. So here's the thing: is that it's like AR, VR, which I know Christian's in, augmented reality, virtual reality. I think I'm talking about augmented. It sounds really high flying, so I'm not trying to go too techie. But imagine asking the client for the girl or the boy's teddy bear or something, going into the home and superimposing that teddy bear on the staged bed in the home and sending that to the client. Is that like a good idea, or is that corny?
You want to take somebody's kid's item and put it in somebody else's house?
Virtually, so they see it, how it may look in the room. We'll get to that offline, though. But listen, Christian.
Well, let's talk about it, right? So
Okay.
teddy bear, maybe not,
Well,
right? But I think in this scenario with the florist, so Soho Flower and Garden, it's
Okay.
hard to get people to go and walk into the beautiful sort of it's like a botanical garden when you walk into the store, but it's
Right.
smaller and you can't have a bunch of people socially distanced in there. So Dominic, the owner, what we're looking to do with him, there's a new iPhone that's got a LiDAR scanner on it, right? New high-end camera. Dominic on a daily basis can go and scan the stuff that he's got on the sidewalk outside and have a consultation over Blue Jeans with someone who's looking to redo the bouquets in the living room, dining room, outside, etc.
And
Then
just to
it can go
recap
in-
that, and recap, what are they seeing? So the LiDAR is like a fancy type of cool, really high-end radar. It scans what to do what. Just repackage that, because even though we're talking about high tech,
Sure.
these can give ideas for people who are saying, how can I reinvent, like Jess and Basil want to do. Repackage that one more time.
On the new 5G devices, right?
Uh-huh.
Part of what we're talking about is the evolution of capturing photos and video.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be 2D, it could be 3D. And because of the capacity of the network, you can capture the things in your room. I used one to capture my wife's birthday bouquet made out
Got
of
it.
flowers. And I was able to take that, put it into the cloud, and then deliver that to her entire family so that they were impressed that I was making sure she was getting the right things for her birthday, right? But apply that to the small business, right?
Got it.
Dominic at Soho Flower, he can go and actually show that to a client. So they say, hey, I can't get there to go and smell the flower, but it looks great
Got it.
on the kitchen table, right? And
Got it.
actually, Jess and I did it when we were in the cafe with a bouquet using augmented reality on the phone. So I think it depends on how your business needs to connect with their customers. And again, you can talk about augmented reality, but is it a way for businesses to have a warmer tone, like Basil was saying, with their customers where they are, when they are, and maybe that's in the store, maybe that's on the go, and maybe that's at their own house. And that's extending the relationship between these small businesses through technology, not looking at technology first to be a hammer looking for nails.
I love it. I love it. And Jess, what would you say to the Verizon execs? We have Eric here and Christian here. As a small business owner, what are those things that you would like to see from larger billion-dollar companies who we small businesses can partner with to get help? Because, hey, listen, reality, we smaller businesses can grow and succeed because these large companies have the capacity to make the investment to look forward. What are some things, Jeff, that you would like to see maybe as you're focused, man, I got to get my coffee shop up and running. I got to think of new ways to do things. What are the best ways that these larger partners, such as Verizon and the tools they have, Blue Jeans and 5G, that they can help us? Anything comes to mind that, that you're like, wow, here's what I would love for my small business?
Well, one of the things that they showed me was this virtual storybook thing. I forgot the name of it already, but
It's okay.
it was really cool. Bookful, that's right. They showed my daughter, and it was really cool. But before this, we had like community toys in our space that children would play with.
Sure.
And now something like Bookful is a great idea for not having to have anybody's kids touching things,
Right.
And possibly getting sick. So I love that idea. Plus, it brings something like a story to life, and it gets them interested in reading. So those sorts of things, little things that will make people want to stay. Maybe they'll buy a little more. They'll tell their friends about it. Look what this place has that this other one doesn't. And I think it would really help, put our name out there.
I love it. And Basil, I think you represent, as I turn to Basil for a question for you, I think you represent, even though Jess probably is too, the frustrated people in the world who are running their business. All of a sudden things came to a crash. What things do you may want to think of, Basil, as you think about Eric and Christian here, who are representing a large company that can help small businesses? What things would you like best? What help do you most need, Basil, from your perspective as a small business owner in real estate?
Well, I just want to go back for a second if I can, because Christian made a good point. Back to your the teddy bear scenario.
Yeah.
If there's a way to find and put somebody's furniture in the new place.
That's what I meant. I said teddy bear,
really
but that's
cool.
what I meant. Yes, that's what. And there is a way. Yes.
Yeah. So like if you show, like here's the apartment, it's vacant, and let me show you how your dining room table and chairs fit in here. Let me show you how your couch fits. Because a lot of people have trouble with that. They can't vision their stuff in the new place.
Got it. I love it. Maybe Christian and I will visit Joey No Nuts and get some coffee and whatever she has and bring it to you, and we'll show you that in a vacant building or something. What were you going to say, Basil?
No, and then as far as like back to your question of
Yes.
what big businesses can do to help small businesses, just don't crush us. Let us do business, help us in ways that you can. And again, everybody needs to make money, but just don't make these things, make these programs and these not these programs, but make these things like Christian. I think Christian said before, it's a user based. If you have one person using it, one person, you have a financial platform for one person, 2 people, 3 people. The more people who you get on, the more people you hire as we come back to, going back to full force. And then, that I think is key.
I love it. Eric, and Christian, as we come to we have 8 minutes or so in this discussion, this has been great. Eric, when you think about Jess, when you think about Basil, as representative of the millions of customers Verizon has just probably in the U.S. alone, what is your best advice, Eric, to them as we kind of conclude this discussion? And in fact, if you don't mind, Eric, Christian, I'll turn that to you first, if I'll do that, please. Christian, what's your best advice as the kind of, I'm gonna put you in the role of the technologist, the geek guy, representing Verizon. What's your best advice for Jess and Basil? They don't want to be technologists, Christian. They don't want to, do every speeds and feeds and geek out, but they do know they have to use tech to grow. What's your best advice for them and hundreds of thousands of small businesses that you serve every day?
Yeah, I think again, it starts with what your business is meant to solve, how you're trying to, I love the idea that it's something personal about your family and you built it to solve the problem that your family is experiencing. And I think, Jess and Joey No Nuts is a perfect example of that. And so that expertise and that passion is something that others won't have. And I think going through the last 6-7 months really is an opportunity to go and see these intersections of worlds, right? You never sort of had a house where you've got remote schooling, you've got the work that you're doing, and the place that you're living all in one place. Yep. And what we found is you can probably make bridges between those different points and figure out how does that help me improve my business just by being exposed to the intersections of all these things. And even the sort of Bookful example is a great one, right? Like we think about the evolution of education and how it becomes interactive, and Bookful is something where the book becomes an augmented reality experience that you can talk to the characters, and now you can have that with the right type of connectivity. And that might be something that you're using at school. But Jess is taking it to the next level and saying, how can I use that to swap out for the toy share or the book share that you might have had at the cafe? So I think what I'd like, and what I'd love to see overall is people are starting to see these problems as not sort of these disparate things, but ones that can intersect and help all ships rise. And that's sort of what gets us excited. And we know 5G will help those ships, but it's going to take the hustle and the gumption of all the individuals that are surviving, and through that constraint, we'll probably find the next great innovation that's going to drive the whole world forward.
I love it. Powerful. And Eric, I'll end with you, Eric. As you look at represent Verizon and the sales end and serving small businesses, as you think of Jess and you think of Basil and others, what's your best advice for these small businesses who are looking forward? Yes, we have to finish out the rest of 2020, but many of us are looking forward to 2021. How do we grow and move kind of out of just survival and eking along, but to restart our businesses? What's your advice to us, Eric?
So Ramon, I'm not sure if we have to finish 2020. I'd like to hit fast forward if that was possible and just get to 2021 and start anew. But that aside, everyone's business has been impaired. Everyone has been gone through a lot this year, and small business is more than most. And we understand that. My best advice is to use this as an inflection point, to leverage technology and stay flexible. Your business model may change. Your composition of retail sales to wholesale sales at wholesale at Joey No Nuts, it may change. How you interact with your customers, Basil, will change. But leveraging a partner that understands that and that can actually reduce your total cost that you spend, your total cost of ownership on technology by getting it and by working with you, and someone who can, has got that integrity to go end to end for you, I think that's super important. So you can focus on your business. You don't need 15 different invoices from 15 different vendors all telling you different stuff. Pick partners that matter and that have a commitment to your community, that are locally in the community, and be flexible as you apply technology to how you drive your new revenues going forward. Because I am an optimist, Ramon. 2021 will be better. So that's my closing part. Yeah.
Listen, I love it. Listen, Eric, Christian, Jess, Basil, it's been awesome talking to you. Anytime I can get excited and talk to small businesses, I'm happy to do so. And this has been Ramon Ray, founder of Smart Hustle Media at smarthustle.com. Thank you all for joining me today.
Thanks, Ramon.
And you can stay on if you want now. We can turn it back to we can. That was just a formal closing. So, but if anybody has to run, feel free. I know it's 3:37, no problem. But I'm going to turn it back to Corey or Claudia or Christine. Any final comments or thoughts? But Eric, I respect if you got to run, or Christian, you can just jump off. Okay, cool. So yeah, Corey, you can come off mute, or Christine or Claudia, any thoughts, comments, feedback?
Yeah, no, just a general thought that everybody, that was awesome. That was it was great to hear everybody's voice. Raymond, I think that you have an incredible personality, and it really shows. Thank you very much for joining.
Absolutely. Okay, with that, Jess, I can't wait to have coffee with you. I'll bring my wife in. We'll have some coffee with no nuts, and it's a serious problem that you have about this nuts issue. Christian, I can't wait to meet you in person and get one of those cool shirts. Maybe just how it fits on you. Maybe that's what it is. And Eric, I can't wait to see you again. We've crossed paths several times. And Basil, thank you for being here. Claudia, you and I are tied to the hip. Thank you all.
Thanks, Ramon. Take care, guys.
Somebody got to send me a picture of one of these shirts. I think I want one too now.
That's right. Let's get him a shirt.
All right.
See you later. Bye-bye.
All right.